again, people. I have decided to check out the tech demos of Doom, starting with the earliest, of course, and I'm going to do at least a few of them. I'm not sure how many I'm going to focus on. I don't want to get too close to the actual real version of Doom, as far as I know. I might not. All depends how I'm feeling, if I just want to move on, or if I just want to check out these. So, as usual, this is not a proposal-based thing, just something I decided, hey, I want to do a video of the tech demos. So here we are. And this is Doom 0.2, the earliest alpha release of Doom around. In fact, so early, it's saying if you have a copy of this, you are naughty. Well, I guess we're naughty. And it's so early it has even Evil Unleashed underneath it. But yeah, Doom 0.2, and I believe all the alpha versions can't run on GZ Doom or any of those modern ones. What that means is that I have to use DOSBox to actually access the stuff. And I've kind of realized something about DOSBots and my recording stuff right now. I seem unable to be able to record with it. I have DOSBox, and DOSBox doesn't seem to want to hook up with it for whatever reason, nor does it seem to work with this new version of OBS in full screen mode. Right now, it's in a window display, and I've stretched it out a little bit to fill the entire thing. We're not going to be having to worry too much about gameplay in this one, luckily. It's just pretty much wander around and look at the pretty little things. So, luckily, there isn't too much that we have to worry about there. But it is inconvenient if we were to do more of the later ones, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying about probably not going to check them all out, because it'll be too frustrating to play some of the later ones in such a window display. Plus the controls can't be really rebinded. It's made to be frustrating because it was made to be just a tech demo. It was all tests and whatnot. It's not the real version that we know and love. Well, some people love, some people hate, to say, I want to play Call of Duty, but that's aside the point. Anyway, like I was trying to say, DOSBox doesn't want to hook up with it for whatever reason. I've tried all different sends in DOSBox. I've gone to config, I've tried changing it to all the different output sends. You have, where is it here? You have like 5 different output sends you could change it to. I'm currently using what I consider as the best one, is OpenGL NB, but that is the one also I assume would be most likely to hook up using DOSBox, because DOSBox can capture OpenGL and direct ads. So, what am I saying? Direct ads, direct 3D. I always say it backwards for some reason. Got used to direct 3D. Direct ads as being a program always seen everywhere. So now it's like I have direct ads stuck in my head. But direct 3D is what I mean. There is DDraw, but anyone who's seen my Thief or my Stronghold knows how much of a pain DDraw could be. I'm actually wondering if I threw... would that even work? If I took my DG Voodoo and threw it in my DOSBox? I don't even know how you'd set that up. It's not exactly like I'm going to be running the application. It's one application loading another one as an emulator. So I don't know if it works the same way or where I would throw it. If you guys want to see that, you're going to have to perhaps try and explain some things in the comments, because right now I'm pretty confused with all that. Like I said, I've tried looking online for this type of stuff. they usually say to change the output from like Surface to like OpenGL or something. And like I said, that's not working. I've tried all the different settings. I've gone through every single one of them, and I'm not getting anything. Going with the OpenGL way, I am able to capture the console. If I wanted to, I could press the record button while the console is loading up for those few seconds. But as soon as the actual game starts, I lose my ability to record. For whatever reason, I don't really get it. So that is why I can't really do it on DS-Tori. So that means I have to do it with OBS. And as you know, OBS is quite the pain in the butt when it comes to hooking up to things. For whatever reason, OBS does not want to capture it in full screen mode as like an actual game. It seems to be that pain in the butt way with every game. I've actually tried now loading up Elder Scrolls Arena, which was something I said I was going to be testing up and seeing if it would work or not. And it does not work. At the moment, I am unable to continue Elder Scrolls Arena because of technical difficulties and not really being sure how I'm supposed to hook it all up. Like I said, I believe it's all this OBS multi-platform stuff. I really wish I knew how to set it up, if there's supposed to be certain tricks to it. But because it's so new, it doesn't seem like it has many documents on it. And yet at the same time, it's not new enough, so that way it's like the plugins have moved over and all that. So right now I'm kind of stuck in a hard boat. So like I was trying to say at the beginning, what I have done is basically I'm playing this in the window, and I'm basically going to capture it on this. It's going to look like a full screen display, but it's been stretched out a little. I don't believe it's too noticeable. I don't think it really is noticeable at all in terms of looking bad or anything. But it is stretched out, a little thing I had to do in order to make it fully fit. And playing in a window is not my favorite type of playing. When I play a game, I like to play in the full screen mode and do it nice and professional-like. So this definitely isn't exactly ideal for me. So if anyone can have any suggestions or ideas for how I'm supposed to get around this whole thing with DOSBox, is otherwise it's going to limit me in the games that involve DOSBox, which includes quite a few of the ones that I was already doing. AKA, I don't really know how I'm going to do System Shock if I was going to restart that series when we eventually got around to restarting it, which I did plan on doing. And Elder Scrolls Arena, as I said, I was kind of procrastinating that one because I was wondering if this would happen, and it turned out to happen. So now I'm basically officially saying I'm unable to continue Elder Scrolls Arena. So yeah, very difficult, very big pain in the butt, and really the only solution I have at this time is basically to record using OBS. I don't need to stream or whatnot with these. I can just do a recording like I am right now. But what this all means is I'm going to need to do in a window display just to do it. Anyway, it's almost getting to the 10-minute mark. As usual, I tend to blab a lot, so I should actually probably get this underway. So what are we looking at today? Well, we're checking out Doom Evil Unleashed Tech Demo, which is basically Doom 0.2, the earliest alpha. Apparently, it was done February 4th in 93. Really only it was only 2 months worth of work done. And it really was just a engine more than actual game. There's really no playability in this one. So that's what I mean by just walk around and see what there is to see. So if we click on this, I think I need to press enter. There we are. Yeah. A lot looks different. Where do I even begin? Because being the earliest version, it's the most drastically different from the one we see in the final one. So as you may have noticed, the biggest thing to note here is the HUD. It has a lot of different aspects. Being so early in the design phase, it's basically just pictures. It's not going to change at any point during the playthrough. But none of them are really going to change around besides, I believe, the map. The map, I believe, moves around. Let me see here. If I move... No, it doesn't look like the map is actually moving. So even the map's staying static. So yeah, everything in this is staying static. If you shoot the shotgun, you're going to stay at 15 ammo. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on this screen. Definitely a lot to go over. So, what is a lot of this stuff? But before we get to that, we should also talk about the fact that you're not hearing anything. That is not because I do not have sound functional. That is because there's actually no sound in the game at this time. So, yeah, it's totally quiet. You'll basically be just hearing the sound of my voice this entire playthrough because there's absolutely nothing to hear. Just me walking around. And right now, I'm not even walking around using the arrow keys. In fact, WASD support isn't functional here. I would have to use the arrow keys to turn. And look spring. Or is it look strafe? No, I believe it's look spring is to move forward and back and turn like that. Look strafe is when you're able to strafe. So yeah, this is look spring is basically activated by default. I believe it's activated by default in Doom as well. So that would make sense that look spring was big at the time before mouse look and all that. So nowadays I would love to deactivate this. I do not like look spring at all. But here it's like you could just use the keyboard, use your control key to fire, and it works pretty well at least. It functions at least as well as you need. So, with all that in mind, we have a lot of stuff here. Like, for example, we have, wait, I think my engine just crashed somehow. Okay, so apparently another thing to note about this, it's entirely unstable! Let me load up DOSBox. There we are. You can even see my nice, pretty DOSBox. So load that up. And we're back here. Wow. So yeah. And if I shoot, as you can see, I have my shotgun. Bam. Bam. My nice infinite ammo right there. It's brilliant, ain't it? So we have a lot of different stuff on the screen. Definitely like a very, very complicated HUD with a lot of aspects I maybe should go over, though. It's a matter of what exactly is here. Well, in the upper right corner, I can tell that's an early version of the auto map, though it's kind of like the mini map of like more modern games. It looks like a pretty nice thing to honestly have if it had been designed. But I imagine what they wanted to do was based on simplicity and minimize screen space. So, as you can see here, there's a lot of stuff on the screen that's just like unnecessary. And I think they eventually want to cut all this down to make it easier to see it all. So, other things on here is the fact that we have like a list of weapons in the right hand side. In the game, there's only going to be one weapon, but at the same time, there is other weapons that are listed by the side corner, and if you go into the WAD, actually you're able to see the different weapons, which will be able to tell you what those names are on the side panel there. So we have a melee weapon, a knife. So basically it's associated like an attachment for the pistol, and it's basically our melee thing, kind of like the fist is. Then, as said, there's the pistol. We have our shotgun, and it looks totally different than the one we're used to. Then we have a machine gun. Like, the machine gun from Wolfenstein 3D instead of the chain gun. So we wouldn't have the chain gun at this point, we'd have the machine gun for whatever reason. Then we get to some weird weapons that are a bit different. Miss is the missile launcher, so it's basically just like the rocket launcher of the final version of Doom, I guess, in idea. Then there's like a CLA. That's basically like a claw, the dark claw. It basically is a way to drain life from your opponents. It basically sucks the life away from your enemies. So yeah, it would have been like another melee weapon, and they ended up just not using it for whatever reason. So that's what the CLA is about. Then we have PRO. It is a projectile. It basically gave stats on enemies, because for some reason this version seems to have been more like an RPG than a real FPS. I think maybe this... I wonder if they were doing what they were going to do with Quake, with Doom, where they were going to make it like an RPG, and then they changed halfway along the road. You know, that... You know, you even see, like, we have the dialogue down there, like, oh, I found cool stuff, and we have different items we could pick up, such as a captain's hand, sandwich, a heart of Lothar. Those apparently would be, like, keys and whatnot. And yeah, we have basically a lot more stats on our shotgun. I'm assuming RPS is like the firing speed. Damage is the amount of damage done. Range is 50, so that's how far it travels. And mats, I'm not really sure. Mats ammo? Maybe. It's very RPG-esque, though. It looks, you know, there's a lot more basis on numbers here than anything else. And, yeah, that projectile weapon would have really been, like, good for that RPG idea. So then we have a spray rifle, which we have 9 ammo for, which is basically like a shotgun, but with a wider range of fire. So, yeah, it's a pretty redundant gun, honestly. Then we have the BFG. In this version, it's the BFG 2704. But it's the BFG, so we at least had that. You know, at this point, we did not have the chainsaw or the plasma gun, so that's interesting to note. And then we also have the Unmaker, which basically hurts certain types of enemies, and it basically is made from, like, demon bones or whatnot. A lot of this stuff was honestly described in the Doom Bible, made by Tom Hall before he was kicked off the team at some point. This probably was made when he was still part of it, and that's probably why it was probably still like the RPG from Tom Hall's era. And I believe what Tom Hall was doing was wanting to make a complex RPG. Id Software was like, no, we, you know, Wolfenstein 3D was based on simplicity and, you know, being just a good shooter. And that's really what ended up happening with Doom, was it ended up being another simplistic shooter. And then the irony is they wanted to, everyone kind of got more on board with it with Quake. And you saw what exactly happened with that. We ended up having a very similar situation. Also, like, the player has, like, a sleeve when you fire this gun. And, you know, the shotgun back isn't too different, but it has a weird scope and roundish area. It does not look like the traditional shotgun we're used to. So that is definitely a little bit different. So yeah, really is not too much honestly to this. You can adjust the brightness using 9.0, so it's like that. Make it pitch black or light it fully up. Let's get back to like the default. I think it was there. And beyond that, what else is there? It really was just rendered like thrown on the screen at this time. It just was, everything was kind of thrown on the screen. It really wasn't stuff like really thrown in the WAD yet. And a lot of the stuff wasn't made, you know, really like it was later. Also, you may have noticed this entire time we have bloody DOSBox. Okay. I tell you, this one's unstable. It just keeps crashing on me. I don't know if that's DOSBox doing it to me or it's just this. We have this guy, this imp. But there's no collision detection yet. So we're able just to kind of walk through him. And for all intents and purposes, he isn't really there. Because he doesn't react to us. All he does is really just... Interesting, as we shoot, it lights up. Watch as the light gets brighter. So that's there. Also, I'm curious, we have armor and health, but what's S? Stamina? We had stamina in this one as well? That's definitely weird. But yeah, we're not able to shoot the imp at all, really. So that's pretty awkward. He's just able to stand here walking and not do anything. And that's basically all they got for animations at this time. So the imp has right now like a brighter face and whatnot, but mostly looks like the imp we know and love. You know, you could definitely recognize this guy as an imp. So it isn't too unbelievable, at least. What else do we have here? Oh, look at this. A freaking Baron of Hell. We're doomed. Except for the fact that, you know, he's unable to do anything. There's our little dancing Baron of Hell. And that Baron of Hell basically looks like the final version. So this is probably the most complete enemy of them all right at this stage. The Baron of Hell right here. So we can wander around here. What's over this way? Ooh, going around all these different corners. This is definitely scary. And we have a demon. And the demon looks a little different than the demon we might recognize. He has like a weird coloration of teeth. And he has like a different coloration, different color eyes. He looks kind of different overall. The demon sticks out as being a little bit different in this version. I tell you, the sensitivity of this thing is funky. Oh, look, a second Baron of Hell for whatever reason. We have 2 Barons of Hell in here. Why do we have 2 Barons of Hell and only one of everything else? Okay. So we have other controls in here. They're actually probably the main feature of this whole thing because otherwise we just wander around and see a few weapons. And apparently, interestingly enough, the map we're seeing has absolutely nothing to do with the level. So, yeah! That really does not help us at all, does it? Nope, siree. No, it doesn't. So, we also have different textures, which, if we use the 3 and 4 keys, we can switch between them. Go back to the normal looking texture. This stuff looks terrible. Hooray, this one has no lines. This one has a line in it. Glad we fixed that one, right? Oh yeah, this is definitely how I want to play Doom. That's a pretty normal looking texture at least. And then we have this. And then this basically is a thing of referring to John Carmack. Very interesting enough. There was a lot of stuff going on at the time, and apparently John Carmack textures. Hooray for that! And then we have random white texture. This. Okay. Hooray for more white textures. Oh boy, look at that. Bigger white textures and bigger white textures, and oh my god, again bigger. Then we have this random weird brown texture. That doesn't look good at all. That's like objectively bad. And that's the final texture I can cycle through. Ooh. But then it also goes back this way. So you can see pink textures. Yes, exactly what the world needed. Pink textures. At different sizes. Yep. That's exactly what we needed. And red textures. And green textures. I love this. Look at that. That's just amazing. Also, the ceiling height changes based on the texture you use, actually. Look at that. That's interesting to note. Then we also have floor textures. Or ceiling textures. My bad. So we have gray. We have more gray. We have like a brown metal. Sadly, I can't look up. It's not GZ Doom. Dirt. Worms. Something. Oh, I think these are the same textures. Okay, so there's like a weird brown one. There's like that thing, that thing, that thing, that. Thomas King, basically Tom Hall, who basically was, the one kicked off the team not long after this. That's really all the textures there. So, yeah. That's all the textures. Just basically cycle through textures, wander around through these walls, shoot at enemies that really don't die, and that's the game. Yeah. Really not much at this point, but that's exactly the thing. It's made to be just a tech demo, just to say, we got something functional, and we got a gun, and enemies that can walk, and some textures and some resources going. Said this was a very early tech demo. Not really much was done at the time. Just something to say it exists, and some things are going. And look at that mean demon eyes. Well, I think we're pretty much done here. There's really not much more to go over. It took 30 minutes of time to go over a tech demo that takes a few seconds to wander around the entirety of it. So I'm pretty proud of myself. Anyway, thank you very much all for watching, and I shall see you all next time.